Bob's Breakfast.
When you embarrass yourself and no one else is watching, it's a special kind of embarrassment. This morning, I woke up, I turned this new computer on that I've got, and I grabbed the mouse, I pushed the mouse forward, and the arrow on the screen goes down instead of up. So then I pull the mouse down, and the arrow goes up. I go left, the arrow goes right. I'm just like, oh, I can't work. Everything's like round the wrong way. What's going on here? Then I realised it's a cordless mouse, and I've got it upside down.
Bob FM.
How are you, Tia?
Oh, I'm good.
And how old are you?
10.
You have to tell me a great dinosaur joke.
Why can't you hear a pterodactyl using the bathroom?
I don't know.
Because the P is silent.
Bob's Breakfast.
The World Cup of Answer Phone Hesitation. This is a great game. This is based on pure frustration. You know when you call somebody up and you get their answer phone, and it's one of those automated ones, but they've put their own voice in there quickly saying who it is, and then there's that gap before the beep. I think it's because they've taken a long time to hit the hash key or whatever the next key is, or they've fumbled, or for whatever reason. Well, that gap is what gets you the points in the World Cup answer phone of hesitation. The record at the moment is 4 seconds, set by Dave last week. Debbie tells me that this number is guaranteed to beat that 4-second record, so let's give it a dial up and see how we go here.
Sorry.
Mick Henman, Ramp Services, Luton.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Unavailable. Record your message after the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press hash for more options.
8 seconds, Mick, you've got the record!
Bob's Breakfast.
Anyone who says they understand LinkedIn is lying. That's because nobody understands LinkedIn. You just try it. When you ask out loud in a crowded office, what the hell's the point of LinkedIn, I guarantee that some smug idiot will roll their eyes and say, networking. Well, I found out this week that that's the biggest lie of all. It's got nothing to do with networking. I can't remember what pushed me over the edge and made me join this utterly useless waste of time, but I think it had something to do with people constantly inviting me to join. So I join, and since then I get requests from people all over the world that I don't know asking me to connect with them. So I click accept. And then I get presented with a page of people I might like to connect with. So I blindly click a load of those as well. I've no idea what I'm doing. If I like the look of them, I click them. Usually I click them if they don't have a profile picture, because I figure if they don't even know how to load a photo on it, they know less about LinkedIn than me, so yeah, you get my vote. Yesterday, I get an email from LinkedIn warning me that my account has been restricted because they've had several notifications from people that I've asked to connect with who say they don't know me. Hang on. You're supposed to actually know the people you connect with. I don't know any of the people that connect with me. What's the point of connecting with people that you already know? You don't need LinkedIn for that. You just email or phone or talk to them because you already know them. And what about these people that only want to connect with people they already know? Why did they join a social media site on the internet? If you don't want strangers contacting you, why did you post a detailed bio all about yourself on the World Wide Web? It's called LinkedIn, not get out of my Facebook. What's the most daring thing you've ever done? David?
My wife asked me to marry her 3 hours into our first date, and we got married 3 months later. We've been married 23 years now and got 4 children.
Wow! So what's her name?
Susan.
Where were you? What was the date?
We were just sitting in a pub outside St Albans in a place called Sandridge, Rhodes and Crown, I think it was. And she said, "Will you marry me?" So I said, "Okay, fair enough."
So, had you known each other before?
Briefly.
Right.
Briefly. I'd met her a couple of times in the previous sort of 6 months.
Right. And you'd always fancied her then?
Well, she had a good backside on her and a fair pair of boobs.
You old romantic fool, you.
That's the latest from the Bob FM newsroom. More at 6:30.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Well, you had some problems at Checkpoint Charlie this morning.
Oh, certainly did. They love their yellow tabards.
But we're talking about Old Nebworth because of the sonosphere. I mean, we're basically in the grounds of the festival.
Yeah, pretty
by
much.
accident.
Yeah.
Bob FM is in the grounds of Nebworth House, and of course, there are so many road restrictions and all kinds of things because they don't want anybody stealing the festival, I think. I don't know what the reasoning is. But up here, Old Nebworth Lane, there are a couple of bods there in yellow tabards.
Well, I've got a bone to pick with you about that.
Well, what happened? Just tell me what happened.
Right, I was driving round the corner, come to a roadblock where there's two guys in yellow tabards. One of them steps out in front of the car, so I can't go any further without running him over. So, doing the decent thing, I do stop and sort of say, "Look, I work at the radio station down the road, just let me through." "No, sorry, can't do that, mate. Can't do it at all." "Well, it's not been a problem for the last 4 years." "No. No, have you got a pass?" "Well, no, nobody's given a pass." "Well, can't let you down then." And he wouldn't shift from the front of the car. I was there for about 10 minutes arguing with this guy that I worked at the end of the road. I said to him, "Look, get in the car with me. I'll drive you down there, show you where I work. I'll even go in the building and then drive you back again." "No, sorry, can't leave my post." I thought, flipping heck. Anyway, they called the boss, head of security, who then just said to them, "Oh, just let him down." Unbelievable. But all this came about is because somebody in a low-slung sports car put their foot down and raced past them.
Yeah, well, you see, I came up Old Nebworth and I saw these guys sitting on these, what looked like school chairs, I don't know. And as I approached them, they both got out of their chairs and I thought, here we go.
Yeah.
So I slowed down, stuck it in second gear, wound down the window. As I slowed down, they walked up to the window, and as they got to the window, I just went, "Morning!" and hit the accelerator, straight through.
Food banks are back in the news this morning. A food bank charity saying it's handed out nearly 1 million food parcels in the last year.
You know, I've had an idea. Here's what we could do, right? We get a cinema to show us a blockbuster movie. Stay with me on this one.
And this relates to food banks?
Absolutely.
Right, okay.
We get a cinema to show a blockbuster movie, and we say to the cinema, we'll give you all the publicity and mention you, and we'll fill a cinema, and we say to Bob FM listeners, you can go to this cinema on this night and watch this exclusive showing of this blockbuster film as long as you bring a can of food. And we have the food bank there on the night to collect all the cans of food.
Well, that'd be good, if you got a big auditorium.
I've got a name for it, too.
Go on.
The Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, my goodness.
Survey out today from Hotels.com talks about things that Brits will do on holiday but wouldn't do at home. Kelly, what would you do on holiday but not at home?
Go topless.
You go topless on holiday, you wouldn't do it at home?
Yeah, it'd be a bit strange in Asda, wouldn't it?
Now, do you have to be out the country or just at a holiday resort?
Oh, definitely out of the country.
Oh, you wouldn't
can't
do
it at Blackpool.
Right, so you wouldn't do it at a British beach?
But even on holiday, it's kind of, you have to do it. As a girl, you feel pressured to do it, because everyone else is doing it, so you think, right, what the heck, I'm doing it too. It still feels a little bit weird. I mean, for instance, I went to Egypt a couple of years ago, and everyone was, half naked, and I thought, no, I'm going to get them out as well and get them brown. And I remember a holiday rep coming over and speaking to me whilst I was topless. But it was so awkward.
Oh, were these men or women?
Men.
No, I'm
But
sorry. A man cannot have an intelligent conversation with a topless woman. It's
Well, I suppose
impossible.
If you kind of live out there, it's just the norm, isn't it? You're just so used to seeing women topless. I suppose you become desensitised to it. But I mean, yeah, it is very weird. I remember falling asleep whilst I was out there, and where we used to sunbathe in the evening, they used to turn it into the restaurant. But I fell asleep, and the people that I was with had gone in, thinking, "Oh, Kelly's asleep; she'll be in soon." They didn't. I think I woke up about 7 o'clock as they were setting up for the restaurant, with people all getting their drinks for dinner and everything, and I'm lying there
topless,
proud as punch.
This is Bob.
Good morning and welcome to a very important show. I'm so excited about this. You know that I've been banging on about our world record attempt for the best part of 2 weeks now. This all started 2 weeks ago when we found out that a kid in America had run away from home and had lived in a supermarket for 4 days, a 24-hour supermarket. Now, couple of things that have developed since then. First of all, it wasn't 4 days.
No, it wasn't.
How long was it, Amy?
2.5 days.
It was only 2.5 days. So, the world record for living in a 24-hour supermarket has been set at 2.5 days. That is so beatable.
It's easy.
I've said that if we find the right person, someone who has the right stuff, we can do it. We can put someone in a supermarket. They only have to live in a 24-hour supermarket locally for 3 days. We have a brave volunteer. He's come forward and he will be going into a local supermarket this morning before the end of this programme. Let's get the latest news now with Chris Hubbard.
There's a story in the news this morning about a woman who's had plastic surgery to get the perfect selfie.
She's had longer arms. We're talking about terrible jobs this morning. There's a bloke in China. His job is being hit in the stomach. He charges people to hit him in the stomach. So what's the worst job you've ever had? I remember I had a Saturday job at Liverpool Airport in the Argyle restaurant. I was a kitchen porter, which basically meant I loaded and unloaded the dishwashing machine, the big Hobart dishwashing machine, and I also had to scrape all the plates into this, what I thought was like a waste disposal thing, until the end of the shift on the first day I realised there was just a big plastic bin bag under there collecting them, and I had to drag the thing into the lift to take it down to the... Oh, it was just horrible. But the thing I found out, I read a book about the Beatles recently, and it turned out that John Lennon used to do that job. He was a kitchen porter at Liverpool Airport, and the airport, the new Liverpool Airport, not the one that me and John Lennon worked in, but the new Liverpool Airport is called John Lennon Airport. They've named the airport after him, which means the next airport they build in Liverpool, they're going to obviously name after me. Hello, who's this?
Hi, it's Gavin from the Garden City Cinema.
Can you help us out?
I can give you a 360-seat cinema with a lovely film, nice Sunday evening. The film I think would be best is a film called The Love Punch. A list of beautiful stars.
Let's get down to business, though. You know, we have no budget and we don't pay for stuff.
It doesn't cost a penny, but obviously, the more cans they bring, the happier we'll be.
Of course we will. All right. What night is the theatre available?
Sunday, the 18th of May at 8 p.m. A nice Sunday evening film.
Oh, perfect. Gavin, thank you so much.
That's not a problem at all.
Look at that. It's a happening thing. The Cannes Film Festival coming soon with the Garden City Cinema and Bob FM. Bob. We're getting a big response now to the idea of holding a pregnant bikini pageant.
I can't even believe you're still going with this.
I think, judging by the response we've had on Facebook and on Twitter and on the phone...
In fact, I thought a lot more women would be saying, no, I don't want to go near it.
Some pregnant women, like Kimberly, have said she would enter.
I know. I'm shocked.
John, what do you reckon? Pregnant bikini contest?
You're joking, isn't you?
No, I think it's a great idea. Celebration of women at their most beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not really into the look of pregnant women.
No, we don't mean in that kind of way.
It's creepy, isn't it? It's not right. It's something not right about it.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
Got it. We could have a pregnant bikini pageant, and for the ladies, be a Gut and Speedos pageant.
No.
Be a Gut and Speedos pageant, following it up.
It's too early for
Be a
stuff
Gut
like
and
that.
Speedos pageant as the curtain raiser to the pregnant bikini pageant.
And you can call it What Happens After Marriage?
Yes! We have a special guest this morning who is going to attempt to break a world record. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very, very good. You're an international man of mystery at this stage. But who knows? In just a few days' time, you could be world famous, my friend.
Oh, it feels good. I hope so.
Amy, just give us some background. How did you find Dan?
So Dan was just interested. We needed somebody to take part, and there were limited people.
This is living in a 24-hour supermarket for as long as possible without being caught by the supermarket or the police.
Yeah, without being caught.
Yes.
So we did phone I phoned a supermarket last week to ask for permission, because I thought we'll see what happens. And sadly, the supermarket said no. They said it's not something they would do due to health and safety.
Right.
So Dan, we're not telling them. We're not saying.
So you understand, already someone has said this is a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, I've got a few on my toes.
Yes. Yeah, okay. So let's meet Dan. So what experience have you got for this?
I've been watching a bit of Supermarket Sweep and Bear Grylls, so I'm ready.
That's it?
Yeah.
It is a kind of a combination between Supermarket Sweep and something from Bear Grylls, isn't it, I suppose? Yeah. What do you do in life?
I do a little bit of demolition for a company.
All right.
And they've kindly given me the week off to attempt this.
Now, did you tell them why you needed the week off?
Man of Mystery doesn't give too much away.
Right, so what did you tell them then?
I said I'm involved in a publicity stunt for a radio show, and I can't say too much right now.
Okay, right. Oh, it is a publicity stunt.
That's how I worded it.
Yeah, but it is also a scientific experiment.
Yes, it is.
Because when we heard about this kid in America that ran away and lived in a supermarket, I said the kid's a genius, because living in a supermarket's got to be the closest thing to utopia possible. You've got everything you need there. What do you think's going to be the hardest challenge then?
Social camouflage, blending in, but...
Social camouflage.
I like that.
Which what it's all about. We can help you out. We've got a fleece with the name... now, we've already selected, I'm not going to say where it is, but there is a supermarket in the south of England that we've selected. They know nothing. They know, and I know a lot of radio stations go like, oh, we didn't tell them, and they really did. Seriously, they know nothing. They have no idea.
We were too scared to ask in case they said no.
Well, we'd already been knocked back by that other one.
Yeah.
So this is a different chain to that other one.
Yeah.
But we do have a fleece from a former disgruntled employee.
Yeah, it was a guy called Jeff. His son used to work in a supermarket, and he gave us a fleece last week. He had his other clothes as well, but he'd thrown them out.
But you know,
he kept the fleece.
So if the heat really gets on, all you have to do is put the fleece on, and you'll look like you work there.
Yeah.
It's up to you how you use the fleece. You don't have to use it at all if you think that your social camouflage is working
might get
well.
involved in a bit of shelf stacking.
But brilliant idea. If
Have
the
you
security
worked
guard
in a supermarket before?
I can't say I have.
Oh, okay. But it's easy stacking shelves, yeah.
I've seen it done.
Right, now we're going to contact you regularly, so have you got all the communications devices that we need? What have you got?
I've got an iPad with my Twitter account. And
what is your Twitter account?
It's Supermarket Sly.
Supermarket Sly is how you follow on Twitter. Now that should be easy, because we know that this particular supermarket does have Wi-Fi. So Supermarket Sly, if you want to follow Dan's progress. We also want to call you on the phone regularly. How's that going to work out? We got your number?
Yeah, you got my number.
Is your phone okay?
Yeah, phone's going to be fully charged.
Oh no, it's Twitter. You can text, but you can't call at the moment. You told me.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You can't call. What's up?
I broke my phone.
Well, okay. Wait a second. This is the first problem here. How did you break your phone?
Slacklining.
So you doing what?
Slacklining. It's a cross between trampolining and tightrope walking, and I fell off and smashed my phone on my hip.
Have you never seen slacklining? It's like being in the circus. It's amazing, and they put on this tightrope.
Yeah.
But the tightrope you can bounce up and down off, and it's like gymnastics on a tightrope.
Why were you doing that?
Just something I got involved in. It's the extreme balance sport.
Extreme balance sport, and
This is a new thing, Graham.
to break phones, right? So it's broken your phone. So we need to. Well, the
We need to be
supermarket.
able to phone
This is what I'm saying about the supermarket being such a genius idea. They sell phones. They sell everything. So first job will be to buy a phone.
I reckon.
Yeah, and then call us and give us the number. So now, we thought the world record was 4 days. Turns out this kid in America only lasted 2.5 days. That means, Dan, if you make it through 3 days, you have broken the world record.
On top of that, this kid had no money. So you can't go in with any money. You've got to go in completely bare.
Yeah. Now, when I say you're going to buy the phone, obviously you're going to get the phone, but until you take it out the cash register. So when you do eventually leave after you've broken the record, don't take the phone with you, because that will be shoplifting. If you go out with anything, you've got to make sure that it stays
within the
supermarket, otherwise you've stolen it.
And we don't want you to steal things.
No, we want you to go in the supermarket. We don't want you to go to jail. In fact, we don't want anyone to go to jail.
No, we don't.
Okay, so it's a very dangerous thing. Dan will be going into a local supermarket later this morning.
Yeah.
And we'll be checking in with Dan during his progress as we attempt to break Bob FM's first world record. Bob. I've been doing something really uncomfortable over the last couple of days. It's torture. You see, we've got this box of cassettes, and they're all kinds of things from when I was younger, when I was in bands and stuff, and I can't face them, but Julie's decided she wants me to put them all on the computer, convert them all to MP3, before it's too late. You know, some of these go back a long time. And, okay, so I'm having to listen through to what I sounded like, and they're awful. It's a horrible experience. But it's weird, it takes you back to that time. And there's one tape in particular, I remember when I was 17, I played it to my mother. It was a song I'd written called Lies. And I was really proud of it. And I remember she said to me, "Oh, we could say we knew you when you were rubbish." And I was really upset by it. Well, turns out she was right all along.
Bob's Breakfast.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Someone hasn't hung up here.
Hello?
You know. Someone hasn't hung up. And we're getting an insight. Can anyone recognise what that is? Or who that is? Does that cough?
Oh, sorry, put the phone down.
If you can name... Who is that? If you recognise that cough, give us a call. Play Name That Cough this morning on 01438 422 106.
Bob FM.
Less than an hour to go before Dan goes in.
I'm getting nervous for him now. I'm starting to get a little bit worried.
Dan is going to attempt to live in a 24-hour supermarket in the home counties for as long as possible and break the world record that was set a couple of weeks ago by an American kid who ran away and lived in a 24-hour supermarket for a few days. Actually, we thought it was 4 days, only 2.5. So if Dan's in there for 3 days with no money, no permission from the supermarket, can he survive? All the food he'd ever need is in there, clothing... It's all there. Badger, you're a little bit worried, though.
If he's not paying for any of the food, you're encouraging everyone and his dog to go in there and have their free lunch and everything.
How am I encouraging people to do that? How's that working?
Well, because they're hearing it on the radio.
Yeah, but they don't do it. You know,
so they're going to just stroll in there and.
I'm not saying it's legal, Badger. I'm just saying this is how he's going to survive in there.
Yeah, I hope you're not dropping yourself in it.
Yeah, I hope so. Because I like working here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Cheers, Badger.
We're not doing anything wrong, are we?
I hope not.
Bob's Breakfast with Hatfield House.
We're talking about dates from hell this morning. You been on one, Kerry?
Not me.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know. I'm doing all right, aren't I, so far?
They reckon everybody goes on a date that they wish they hadn't gone on at least once in their life. So, unfortunately, Kerry, if that hasn't happened to you, you were that date.
Oh, my God, yes. Oh, no.
This is Bob.
Phobias. What's yours, Amy?
I have a fear of touching towels with dry hands.
Touching towels with dry hands?
Yes, so I can dry my hands when they're wet,
Uh-huh.
but I can't touch towels when my hands are dry, so I can't put them away out the tumble dryer or anything like that.
So what do you do? Get a forklift truck or something?
No, I get my husband to do it.
And what is it about touching towels you don't like?
It's the feel of it. It freaks me out, and if someone puts a towel near me, I kind of run away.
So what difference does it make if they're wet?
It feels different. I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's weird.
Okay, so you get out the shower and you're wet, so you grab a towel and that's fine. But after a while, when the towel has dried you, then you're dry, then what happens?
I leave the tap running so I can keep wetting my hands, and then I can dry myself properly.
So you have to dry yourself with wet hands?
Yes.
To hold the towel?
Yes.
What a nightmare!
Yeah, it is. I don't know where I got this fear from either. It just kind of gradually happened over time.
Have you ever sought professional help and, you know?
Well, I saw a counsellor for other things, and they kind of just laughed at me when I said about it.
Oh,
so
that's
no.
nice. Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. So you don't even know the name of this phobia?
No.
A fear of touching towels with wet hands. That's quite specific.
Yeah.
Bob's Breakfast.
Your date from hell story. What's happened to you? Hayley.
I've done some internet dating.
Yes.
And the two that stand out the most is one person dealt some drugs on a date.
He dealt what? He tried to deal them to you, or he was doing them on the side?
He was doing them on the side to someone else.
Goodness me, how did you know what was going on?
Because I was in the car with him, and he went round to someone's house and came back with some money.
Oh, right, yeah, that's a dead giveaway. How did you get out of that date?
Quickly.
Okay, and what was the other date from hell?
The other one was someone that was using pictures that weren't him.
Oh, he was in... His internet profile was... Who were they?
They were someone that his girlfriend had left him for.
Well, at least he's admitting that she'd upgraded.
Very much so.
Bob's Breakfast.
Phobias this morning. What's yours, Sarah?
Orange peel.
Orange peel? What's wrong with it?
Oh, it just feels disgusting on your hands. It's really... When I was at boarding school, I used to actually pay people to peel my oranges because we had to eat our oranges. And I used to pay people out of my tuck box so that I didn't have to touch the orange peel.
Has this always been a problem for you?
I don't remember when it started. Even now, I love oranges, but I have to get the kids to peel them for me. It's like, peel a grape for your mother. It's like, peel an orange for mum.
Now, is it the outside?
No, I can touch... If I'm putting some oranges in the fruit bowl, I don't mind the outside.
Right.
It's that white bit in the middle.
Okay. You don't like taking the pith?
No.
This is Bob.
We're talking about DIY this morning. Oh, and you're a bit of a dab hand. What have you done?
Well, I completely replumbed the house and rewired the house, but...
Jeez, that's a big undertaking.
Yeah, it was.
What do you think of this survey that's out today that says young men are useless at it and are more likely to get their dad involved, even to change a light bulb?
Oh, I fully agree with that.
You agree with that?
Yeah, they haven't got the bottle to try it themselves.
Do you think men are a dying breed then? Because women are going more for men who use moisturiser and hair straighteners than blokes who can fix a tyre or, rewire a fuse.
No, blokes who can fix a tyre and rewire a plug and a fuse and everything like that, they're far better than the blokes that
I know they are, but they're not the ones that are getting to breed. You see, this is Darwinian. The men who are getting to breed are the men who women are attracted to. But women are more attracted now to men who use moisturiser and hair straighteners. They're the ones that are breeding. So future generations are losing the DIY gene.
Bob's Breakfast.
Well, the time has come to bid farewell to Dan, who is leaving the studio now and heading to a supermarket. And we are not going to say which one.
Before you go, I've got the fleece for you.
Okay, now this was Jeff, whose son worked in a supermarket. There is a brand name, please don't say it, of the supermarket chain on the fleece. This may help you out. You can use it if you think the heat's on.
You can be a chameleon.
Your goal is to live in a 24-hour supermarket for as long as possible without being caught. The supermarket has no idea we're doing this. You may need the fleece just to, blend in. What did you call it? Social camouflage. I like that. Are you
getting
confident,
nervous
Dan?
now.
Yeah, I got my poker face too.
Oh, poker face. Right, okay.
Good luck, Dan.
Thank you very much.
We may never see you
No.
again.
Cara Delevingne could be the next Bond girl.
Who's Cara Delevingne?
She's a famous model. She's like the new number one supermodel that everyone's looking after.
Except
Loving.
me. Except me.
you, yeah.
Why? So she's famous for what?
Well, she's only 21. She's
Right.
just famous for being a model.
She's famous. Okay.
For looking beautiful.
Can she act?
I don't know. I think that's a massive role, though, to take on, isn't it? If you're just a model, I mean,
It's not a massive role. Here's the acting required to be a Bond girl. Oh, James. That's it. Politicians, this is how obsessed they are with meetings. They will give a meeting a really fancy name to make it sound like it's massively important. Whenever there is a perceived crisis in this country, like the crisis threat of a terrorist attack or the crisis threat of a pandemic, what do? There is a meeting of the Cobra Committee. Cobra. Cobra sounds like some kind of commando unit. Commandos in rubber dinghies appearing in the middle of the night and planting limpet mines on a destroyer or submarine. We are Cobra. Do you know what Cobra stands for?
What?
Cabinet Office Briefing Room A.
No way!
That is how obsessed they are with me.
Bob's Breakfast.
Amy, thank you very much for the refill on the coffee, but I noticed you took my cup and your cup out there to do the refill, and
Yes.
they're both Bob FM mugs.
Yes. That's fine.
No, it's not.
Why?
Well, I think we should not have the same mug, because for all I know, you've refilled this cup in the mug you were drinking out of.
There's 10 Bob FM cups in the cupboard
know,
out there. They're
I know,
all the same.
I know,
I'm not looking at
but
what?
this-
What's the problem?
2 words. Girl germs? Doing nothing at work is also known as meetings. Because you have meetings and you have work. Meetings are not work. Meetings are talking about work.
Are we still on for 11:30 today?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
But that's
Just wanted to make sure.
that one's important. If I call a meeting, it's important.
Yeah.
That is work. Right. So that doesn't count. Bad example. Communication breakdown. It might have been when you were on holiday or just out of your comfort zone and there was a misunderstanding. I remember being in Singapore once with 2 of my mates, a mate from Wigan and a mate from Middlesbrough. Tony Lynch from Middlesbrough was the guy that when we got into the taxi at the hotel, he told the taxi driver where we wanted to go. Big mistake. We wanted to go to Chinatown. So he says to the driver, "Oh, Chinatown." Anyway, the taxi driver took us to the Sheraton. It all started yesterday, innocently enough, with a world record attempt. We'd heard that a couple of weeks ago, a runaway in America had lived in a 24-hour supermarket. For what we thought originally was 4 days, turned out to be only 2.5 days. When we heard that, we knew that we could beat that record. A volunteer, Dan, the mystery man.
Supermarket Sly.
He came forward and reckoned he could live in a 24-hour supermarket for 3 days, become the world record holder, become internationally famous, and put Bob FM well and truly on the broadcasting map. Just before 9 o'clock yesterday, he went into that other world, a world where everything you could possibly want is at your fingertips. And things were going really well. He was tweeting.
He was tweeting regularly every hour. He was full of hope. He was excited. It was a bit of a game. He had a game plan when he went in there, and I think that was going well.
So, yesterday lunchtime, we went down to see him. He was in good spirits, full of hope. You'd see it in his eyes. Then something happened in the middle of the night, and we lost contact. The tweets stopped. We can't get him on his phone, which he managed to get from the supermarket. It's just one of the things you can get when you're in. We don't know where he is. Quite honestly, I hate to say this, but we don't know if he's dead or alive.
You can't say it. That's horrible. I just can't think of that. I just want to find him now.
John's on the phone. John's a postman. Now, John might be able to help us because we can't contact the police on this in case the police have him. And then it gives the game away that we are accessories to whatever crime they say he's committed to arrest him. But your postmen, they get around everywhere. In fact, I reckon there are probably more postmen on the streets right now than there are police.
Not only that, but they get to see a lot of things.
They get to see a lot of things. They know what's really going on. They're a secret force. John, do you reckon you could mobilise the postmen of the home counties to find Dan for us this morning?
I doubt it. They all want to rush around and get home today.
Oh, well, that's nice, isn't it?
What does he look like?
Well, he's a big bloke. I don't know. Chiselled features, would you say?
Chiselled.
Yeah, he's got...
He didn't leave... Something didn't do him with a reduced gun, did they? The old chaps might have bought him.
I don't think he's been sold. What, think he's been sold into slavery somehow?
You seen the advert?
Which advert's this?
The slavery advert. The one that's on telly that tells you it goes on over here.
Really? I haven't seen that. So there are adverts on the TV looking out for people who are being sold into slavery?
Yes.
Generally they're women, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. There's some ugly women out there.
Oh.
He would make a rubbish woman.
Yeah, would he?
Yeah.
A chiseled woman.
Yeah.
But he's big enough.
Jack Palance in a dress.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, that's the thing, is he could have slipped into the freezer section.
Oh, we're talking... What, you think he may have had an accident of some kind and...
pushed him in there.
Bob's Breakfast with Hatfield House.
Nice to be back in England. I was in America. Had a great trip. Kerry's on the phone. You followed my trip through my tweets and my twit pics.
So in New York, I saw your pictures of Twin Towers, and I thought, oh my God, I need to go there. It looks amazing.
It's a brand new museum that's opened, and it's in the basement of where the World Trade Center was. I mean, it is actually the basement, and some of the stuff there, it's creepy and morbid.
Yeah,
but
I imagine it is.
It's a lot like a Holocaust museum. It's good that it's there for generations to come to see what happens when crazy people do evil things and to try and stop it happening again. And that's why it's there, and I think it's important. But amazing, amazing.
Was it quite emotional?
It really was. The bit that choked me up, that there was a firefighter's motorbike. I don't know if you saw that picture.
Yes, I saw that as well, yeah.
The firefighter, he'd bought this motorbike, and he'd said to the guys that he worked with, I'm going to do this up, and they all said, he'll never do this up. And he died in the Twin Towers. And so the guys got together and finished doing up the motorbike, and the motorbike is there in the museum, and it's pristine, it's just perfect. And I don't know, of all the stuff I saw, and there's like fire engines that have been wrecked and everything, of all that, the motorbike for some reason choked me up, because it's about guys who are his mates going, well, what can we do? Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to finish off the bike.
Wow.
This is Bob.
Dan, the mystery man, volunteered to live in the supermarket. We dropped him off there just before 9 o'clock yesterday morning. We lost contact with him in the middle of the night. We haven't heard a thing from him.
The last
he's
thing
disappeared.
that he tweeted was, it's now or never, must have walked 10 miles today in several combinations of clothes. At Bob FM UK.
What do you think it's now or never means?
Well, previous to that, he was trying to find somewhere to sleep. So he was walking around the store trying to find... Well, this is what he was tweeting. He was hoping for a shift change.
Now or never. Never's a very final word to be in his last tweet. He was in good spirits yesterday. We went down to visit him in the cafe area of the supermarket. Now, we had to be very careful. I recorded this on my iPhone, but we had to look like we weren't recording. So this is what it sounded like when we caught up with him. This is the last time we saw him. Okay, so we've what we've got to do is we've got to make out that we're just having a chat here in the coffee bar. We're in. I know, because I want it to sound good.
Put it on the table.
Because we think on the next table to us, someone in charge. Yeah.
They look like the manager type, aren't they?
I think so. Amy, what have you just been earwigging and you've just picked something up? What's the matter?
The guys behind the counter were saying, "Oh, did you hear about? Have you heard about that guy that's going into a supermarket? And what would you do if he came in here?" And the girl said, "I don't know. What's his name?" And the other guy said, "Oh, I don't know. I think his name's Liam or something. But like, keep an eye out."
So our quest to make you world famous, Dan, it's backfired at this stage. That they know what you're up to, but they think you're called Leon.
Oh, right, because Lucky...
Liam?
Yeah.
Where'd they get that from?
Because Lucky, they asked me for a coffee this morning. I had to give them my name, and I blurted out my name, and I was like, oh, no. But
it's like that scene in The Great Escape where they go, good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's looking alright so far, but yeah. I'm looking forward to Tea Time Rush, and when it's busy, I'm gonna choose my little place and get myself comfy.
Talk us through your morning then. When you first got here, what did you work out?
It's pretty quiet, and I managed to get a phone, and then just felt like everybody was looking at me, and the security guard was fanning around me, and then it's just been spotting a few places, but it's not as easy as I thought, basically, but it's going to be a challenge.
What's going to be the hardest bit then?
I'm a pretty big bloke, so trying to get in a little hiding place is going to be quite difficult, I think.
We thought that this one had an upstairs, but it doesn't have an upstairs, so there's even less places for him to hide. And what happened when you were getting a coffee this morning? There were two guys in front of you.
There's two old boys mentioning have they heard about the guy in the show, and I thought it was all over straight away. But yeah, I don't think people know it's me yet, so...
They didn't realise.
Good luck, Dan.
Thanks, man. Look forward to it.
Oh, no.
It's kind of sad listening to that back now. That was the last time we saw him alive. A spooky incident yesterday at Bob FM. Now, this radio station is in the middle of nowhere, on top of a small hill, surrounded by countryside and Gothic-type forest. In the grounds of the historic Nebworth House, which of course we all know is haunted. Anyway, from time to time we like to give young people the chance to join our Bob Squad. We're looking for enthusiastic people. People who are far from socially awkward. And yesterday, a chap came to be interviewed by you, Amy, to maybe join this elite team of promotional staff.
He did. He sounded like he had great experience. He had event experience, marketing, online, everything. He gets to the door.
Late. He's about an hour late.
He was
He's about
late.
an hour late.
He was late, yeah.
He comes in and he could easily have been... Was his last name Adams? Munster? He was, shall we say, Transylvanian looking?
Very much so.
Very much so,
yeah.
Yes. A bit like Brad Pitt in Interview with a Vampire, only with a freaky beard as well. A freaky beard.
It was one of those, it wasn't a normal beard though. It wasn't like a thick beard, as a guy, I imagine you shave every day and then it gets thicker and you grow. It's like he'd never had a shave. And he just had like a little fluffy bit at the bottom, really long and straggly.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was creepy. So anyway, you decide to take him into the little meeting room at the side here. And within seconds, they're screaming and you come storming out and there's a major kerfuffle because...
There was a bat in there.
A bat! A bat!
In that small little room.
A bat! A bat! What's that all about? I say, that bat flew out of his beard. We have lost contact with our hero. We don't know what to do now. We need your help. Any ideas, Badger?
You could contact the local police station, obviously, because I thought he'd end in tears. He's probably there.
You think he's... What makes you think he's at the police station?
Well, they've obviously arrested him for, like, some sort of shoplifting misdemeanor or something in store. If he's wearing clothes that he's borrowed from the store...
Yes.
He might have been arrested by the fashion police.
106 Bob FM.
The vampire bat that flew out of a guy's beard yesterday at Bob FM, it was dead on arrival. It died on... It hit the deck, hit the floor, dead. Lawrence got it out in a Tupperware and put it outside. It's gone this morning. It's come back to life. It's flown off. It's going to devour another victim. We should never have let that happen. We should have flushed it.
You can't flush it down the toilet.
It was
down the
dead.
Toilet.
That's where dead animals.
They're endangered. They are so protected.
It wasn't endangered. It was dead. It's too late to save it.
I know, but they're
it's beyond
protected.
the. It's like you can't. But dead things aren't protected.
I think they are. I think bats are. They're in a whole
Not
other
when they're
world.
dead. They're all a whole other world.
Yeah, to themselves, like they. Yeah.
What?
Bats, you have to be... Oh, I have to look at the law on bats.
But
Seriously.
it's dead. Once it's
Even
dead...
if it's dead, you still can't flush it.
Well, what did we do with it? We put it outside.
And let the nature take its course.
Yeah, which means that once the sun went down, then it came to life. We didn't even know if he was dead or alive. But I can give the good news this morning that Dan is here! Dan,
so relieved.
It's great to see you in one piece.
It's nice to be here with a coffee.
It sounds like you've had quite an adventure. Now, you've basically just come through the door. You do look slightly bedraggled, but I don't think you've ever been so well dressed. We have to say that the supermarket clothing is quite an improvement over that scabby T-shirt that you left here with yesterday. Okay, so... take us through it. We last spoke to you when we were in the supermarket around about lunchtime in the cafe. I know the cafe closed at 4. Take us through what happened after we left.
Just kind of cruising around looking for places to hide and just kind of blended in and picking up lots of stuff in my trolley and in my basket.
You had a trolley then? Yeah.
I had a little go, yeah. Got to blend in.
Yeah.
And I'd
never thought about that. If you didn't have a trolley or a basket, you'd stand out in a supermarket, wouldn't you? That's good thinking.
Yeah. Got to blend in, and I'd kind of fill it up, and then I'd go back to where I got it from and empty it. So,
right,
because you can't just go leaving a trolley.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it keeps you occupied for a bit as well.
That's it.
Yeah, you must put some mileage on that trolley, though.
Yeah, and I think I wore my shoes out.
Right. So you kept moving. That was the plan. You thought, I'll keep moving. How did you hit a moving target?
Yeah. And I didn't fancy hanging around in the toilet for too long, but only just to get changed.
Yeah.
Because notoriously unclean, those supermarket toilets.
Yeah.
And quite busy as well, so...
Right.
Yeah, the key is to keep moving, but...
Right.
But they're awfully well designed, these supermarkets. There's not many places to hide, and... yeah, and during the night, everyone...
Well, let's just get to that. Now, can you tell us, now that it's over, can you tell us what your plan was? Because the night time, that's the key, is where you're going to sleep, because you got to sleep. What was the plan going in?
It was to hide in the clothes section, obviously, use some clothes to keep myself warm, because supermarkets are really cold places.
Right, so you were going to, what, curl up in the coats or something?
I was going to just jump behind a rack and just...
And what, then lay down on the floor?
Yeah, well... I did spot one place, but it was in the school uniform section. I didn't think that was the best idea.
Why is that?
I don't know, it just seemed creepy.
Okay, a bit inappropriate. Yeah. Okay, yeah, right.
And
you don't have parents taking their kids round and then, Dan
finding a
jumps out.
6-foot bloke in there, yeah. All right, so we get down to the late hours.
You were struggling when you were tweeting, because I was reading your tweets, following them, and we tweeted each other a couple of times, and you looked like you had severe sleep deprivation.
Yeah, I'd walked a few miles, I reckon. I was really tired and I was just about to drop, so it was like I got to lay down soon, or
right. What was it with the last tweet? Why did it say it's now or never?
Because it was a case of if I don't get some sleep soon,
right. Okay. You see, I had to.
Plus, it was just getting a bit on top. Everyone was looking at me.
Right.
And I just felt like I was going to get busted.
Right. Okay. So you eventually found somewhere to sleep?
Yeah. The quietest place was the just the entrance to the store. There was a load of seasonal charcoal. On crates, big crates of charcoal, and I just literally pulled a hop, skip, and jump over those, and jumped down the back. And
what, down the back of the big racks?
Yeah.
And then where was the charcoal? In front of you?
Yeah, it was just in front of me, and it was just in the entrance. I jumped over there, and I was so tired. It was pretty comfortable, despite being a concrete floor.
Oh. Right.
And, just
that must have been freezing.
Yeah, it was pretty chilly last night.
And then what happened?
I got some sleep.
Right, excellent. About how long do you reckon?
I'm not sure. It's quite a while. It was definitely over an hour.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then somebody popped their head over and asked me if I was all right. And when I looked up, there was no one there, and I thought I was dreaming.
Right. And then what?
And then security turned up.
Did they?
Yeah.
And what they have to say?
There was kind of a good cop, bad cop thing going on.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, like the young guy was like, he must have found it quite funny, but the old guy was taking it very seriously. So.
Right, and you were sprung?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so did you say anything in your defence? Do you have a cover story or anything? What were you wearing at this stage? Because you were a master of disguises.
I had all my clothes on at this stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I was pretty cold, and I'd literally get all my clothes on just to try and stay warm.
Right, okay, yeah.
So, yeah, he was... I think they thought I was a homeless guy at one point.
Right. So then they what? They frog marched you out?
No, they said, you've got to go, and I said, I'm off. I'm leaving peacefully, no problems.
Right, okay. You did the right thing.
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
now you stood outside this... Why didn't we get a phone call from you?
My batteries had died, and I was out of internet kind of range.
Right.
So I literally had nothing.
To contact... You had no money and no way to contact the outside world, and you stood outside a supermarket.
Yeah.
Which is, we know, is a long way from here. So how did you get to where we are at Nebworth House this morning?
I did a bit more walking.
You walked?
Yeah, it's the only kind of thing I didn't find... Well,
you walked all the way?
All that way?
Yeah, I kind of... Yeah.
You didn't think to hitchhike?
I've tried hitchhiking before, and being quite a tall bloke, not many people pick me up.
Yeah, it's also fraught with danger.
I feel awful.
Why?
Because I'm just looking at you. You look absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, I think I've got a man cold as well.
Man cold? Shame you're not in the supermarket. I bet they'd have something for that.
Yeah. This is Bob.
What's happening in news?
Bit of a terrifying story for a koala. A koala clung to a car grille for more than 50 miles after being run over on a motorway. Survived the rough ride with only minor injuries. This koala, who they've named Timberwolf, latched onto the vehicle after he was hit in Australia's Queensland state. His only injury after travelling 50 miles clung onto the front of the car was a torn nail.
Oh,
which isn't bad, to be honest.
Well, I don't know, I'd say that's pretty bad.
A torn nail.
Amy thinks she had a near-death experience yesterday. It just turns out she's a bad passenger in a car.
It's not about the bad passenger. You're a horrific driver.
Yeah, I know, I'm a terrible driver. It doesn't bother me. What happened was, as you know, Dan was attempting a world record. He failed to live in a 24-hour supermarket for a number of days. He didn't even make it through the night without security catching him and throwing him out. But at lunchtime yesterday, we went to visit him at his home in the 24-hour supermarket, and we drove... I don't want to say, well, because the supermarket still don't know we did this, and it was us. But all I'll say is we drove on the A1M. I won't say which direction we were heading, but if you remember, yesterday it was a bit rainy.
A bit rainy. It was torrential rain. The wind was awful. There was loads of traffic on the road. Massive lorries. You can't see where you're going. We're in your little Mazda. And
the Mackmobile.
You've got your...
It's a safe car, the Mackmobile. It's good.
You virtually skidded off the road.
When?
You spun round the corners. When we were going down the little lanes from Nebworth House.
Really?
Yes! Slamming on
I
the
never
brakes.
broke the speed limit. I never broke the speed limit.
You were going far too fast for those corners. You slammed on the brakes.
It's a
you put
60
on the
mile an hour limit
accelerator.
there. It's
it
a 60
shouldn't be. It's
well,
crazy. Through the puddles, out the puddles, round, slamming on the brakes because someone's coming the other
Old
direction.
Nebworth Lane is a bad road, though. It's a bad road.
It is.
It's a
very
bad
windy.
road. There you go. See,
Yeah,
it's a
so
bad
you have
road.
to drive carefully down it.
I was
and you have
driving
to be
carefully,
aware
fine.
of other people. I don't mind how you drive when I'm not in the car.
Something you need to know about the Mackmobile. It isn't dual control. That brake pedal you kept hitting?
Yeah.
That's not real. That's an imaginary brake pedal. What's Bob doing? This really has, well, started to get out of control. It's really easy. I recorded Bob doing something. You tell us what Bob's doing and you get through on the phone and you win cash. Now, we're not playing the game till later on this morning, but here's the sound. If you know, now, I'm just looking, you know when people phone up, we get a readout of all the phone numbers that call. You can just see when we play What's Bob Doing, the thing just goes crazy. We just got this log of actually I can click on there and call them back. Let me just call one of these back and just remind them that the game is coming up. Yeah. Good morning, it's Graham Mack and Amy Stevenson from Bob FM. Who's that?
Oh my God. Of all the times you call me, I'm on the loo.
Who are we?
Heaven.
Who are we talking to?
Mandy from Stevenage.
Mandy.
I've rung you so many times. Don't tell me you're ringing me about what's Bob doing.
No, I'm not. I'm ringing.
Oh, thank God you're not ringing me to ask me what Mandy's doing. You really don't want to know.
Graham Mack and Amy Stevenson, and you join us on a sad day, a day when our world record attempt failed. We heard about this kid in America who ran away from home and lived in a 24-hour supermarket for a few days, and we decided, well, that would be easy. Everything you could ever want is in a 24-hour supermarket. You can change clothes whenever you like, you can upgrade your phone, you can watch DVDs, you can eat whatever you like. The hardest part would be keeping the weight off. So we got Dan, he volunteered, and we put him in a local 24-hour supermarket. He went in at about this time yesterday morning. Things were going well. We went to visit him at lunchtime. His spirits were high. He was tweeting. And then late last night, just before midnight, the tweets suddenly stopped. We were worried. Tried to phone him on the phone that he'd got from the supermarket that was working fine up until that point. Just went straight to answer phone. He was incommunicado. We didn't know what had gone on. This morning, it was about 7:10, he shows up here.
Yeah, just stands up.
And tells us his sad tale. He was thrown out of the supermarket by security who caught him sleeping behind the charcoal. And then he walked here. It took him 9 hours to walk here. He tried hitchhiking, couldn't get a lift. So we failed, and, well, we're not feeling too good about ourselves. Sarah, though, you think you know what the problem was?
If you go to America, they've got supermarkets that are the size of small towns. That's the problem. I don't think our supermarkets are big enough to do that, whereas there's the Walmarts that you can spend just 20 minutes walking from one end to the other. And that's the problem. Our supermarkets are too small to do it.
It was a Walmart that this kid did it in.
They have an unfair advantage in America. They can get away with a stunt like that because over here our supermarkets just aren't big enough for somebody to get lost in.
They sell beds, don't they, those big supermarkets?
Oh, they sell everything.
Yeah. See, with a bed, that would be easy. What we need to find somewhere that sells beds. If we're going to spend 24 hours in a shop, we need it to be a shop that sells beds. If anyone's got any ideas, I think the dream could still be alive.
Bob's Breakfast.